Hey everyone, in today's video I will be showing how the two most difficult boards of this series are made. These two are the Interlocking Cubes pattern, first made by Jonathan Katz-Moses, and the second being an insanely difficult Penrose board, which I believe I am the first to make, which in retrospect I completely understand why. First off, I cut some boards for the Interlocking Cubes pattern and sanded them down to the perfect thickness using the drum sander. Turning the angle on the table saw to 60 degrees, I then cut some chamfers to get the final trapeze shapes. I forgot to film the making of the central triangular piece, but made some and cut them to size. Then I used some of my triangular 3D printed clamps, files for which should be somewhere in the description, and once the glue up was dry, I sanded all the faces with my drum sander using the jig I created in the previous episode. Then I cut the prisms into 8 parts each, and this allowed me to prepare a layout, and once that layout was made, I also cut the excess off from one side with the help of my beloved bandsaw, and then moved those parts to the other side to make the board rectangular. Then I did the same type of glue up I did for the basket weave board a while back by gluing each piece individually, and then pressing the sides with metal or wooden bars and clamps. Once glued, I chose to plane it down first using my CNC and then the drum sander before using my dual mode sander. Then I trimmed the edges as well with the table saw and decided for this episode to make the boards look more massive by not adding that usual chamfer, but some small handles underneath instead. I finally oiled up the results, so let's enjoy that for a minute. Did I mention I added feet? I feel like I said this before. So the end result is absolutely beautiful, so I gotta thank Jonathan for the idea. If you like what you're seeing at this point, by the way, and you're new to this channel, welcome aboard and feel free to subscribe to see more of my videos along the way. Now let's move on to the second board, which is all me and is a board with a Penrose triangle pattern because I tend to go a bit too far all the time. I made some strips the exact same way as the previous board, except instead of preparing 30 parts, I prepared 78, and this time some were triangles, some were trapezes, and some were parallelograms. As for the triangles, there were some big ones made with the table saw and some tiny ones made with the bandsaw. And as for the glue up, it's easy to get rectangular parts to align. Now imagine having 13 trapezes, parallelograms, and triangles of different sizes in the same glue up with a clamp that is made of plastic. Yeah, that's why it's level 25. It was very hard to get it right, and as you can see, it was far from perfect. But then again, that's why the Penrose triangle is surrounded by an outline. It's always better to work with margin, to sand or plane down your potential mistakes, than not to. Same as before, I cut some parts from each triangular prism and laid them out on the table and did the same cut on the bandsaw to make the board rectangular. The glue up is identical to the previous one as well, and the result also has a handle instead of the usual chamfers. Once oiled, it looks really amazing, and I really am glad that I went forward with it, but I'm also not gonna lie and say that I am glad the series is over because some of those boards were very tough to handle, and I learned a hell of a lot on making end grain cutting boards. You can find all these boards on my website, and I am glad you stuck with me on this series. I've got a few announcements coming soon about a new Patreon with giveaways for most of the items I make from now on, so thanks for watching and see you guys next time.